The man in the faded gray t-shirt just paid for a truck in cash. You watched it happen from 3 registers over at the dealership. No trade-in games, no financing desk. He signed one paper, shook one hand, and drove off in a work truck with 140,000 miles that he clearly did not need. His shoes were scuffed. His watch was plastic. If you passed him on the street, you would have offered him directions to the food bank. And a week later, you find out he owns half the storage units on the north side of town. Here is the thing nobody tells you about money. Somewhere along the way, the people who actually have it stopped looking like it. And the people who look like it most are usually the ones drowning. The signals got scrambled on purpose, and you have been reading them backward your entire life. So let's fix that. Let's climb the ladder of what wealth actually looks like, rung by rung, from the loud broke bottom to the silent rich top. And watch the strange thing that happens at every level. The louder the money looks, the less of it there usually is. Start at the bottom where the money is loudest. You know this floor. The brand new luxury sedan in the apartment complex parking lot. The designer logo splashed across the hoodie so there is no mistaking what it cost. The watch that catches the light on purpose. The bottle service photo. Everything here is a billboard, and the billboard is always advertising the same thing. Look at me. I made it. But walk into the leasing office with that person and the story on the screen tells something different. The luxury car is financed at a rate that would make you flinch. 84 months long, upside down before it left the lot. The designer hoodie went on a credit card at 26%. The watch is still being paid off in installments. At the loud bottom, the stuff is real and the wealth is rented. Every visible signal is a bill that has not come due yet. Picture the apartment parking lot at night. The luxury sedan sits under the one working light like it is posing for a photo, and 2 spaces over is the beat-up commuter car that actually gets driven to work at 5 in the morning. The person who owns the shiny one is asleep upstairs in a rented 1-bedroom, and the $1,200 monthly payment on that car is more than the rent. The car is worth more than everything else they own combined. That is not wealth, that is a costume with a key fob. The first rule of the ladder. The things you can see were the easiest to buy, and the easiest things to buy are the ones that keep you at the bottom. Climb one rung to the comfortable middle. This person looks like they are doing fine, and they are. The reasonable car paid off. The nice but not flashy house in the good school district. The clothes that fit well without shouting. From the outside, they look a little boring. No logos, no spectacle, just steady. And that boredom is the tell, because while the loud bottom was spending money to look rich, the comfortable middle quietly stopped caring how they looked at all. They traded the billboard for the balance sheet. The money that used to go toward being seen now goes somewhere you cannot see, into accounts, into equity, into the slow, quiet machine of compounding. You would never pick this person out of a crowd. That is the point. They figured out something the loud bottom never will. Looking rich and being rich pull in opposite directions, because every dollar spent proving it is a dollar that is no longer growing. Picture their kitchen on a Sunday. The same laptop open that has been open for 3 years, a cup of gas station coffee, and a spreadsheet nobody will ever see. This is where their money actually lives, not on their wrist, not in their driveway, but in a boring row of numbers that gets a little longer every month. The neighbors think they are cheap. The spreadsheet knows better. The rule at the middle. Real wealth is the money you do not see, because it is busy being money somewhere else. Quick detour. There's a guy at your office named Derek. Derek looks rich. Derek makes sure of it. The leased German sedan, the watch he mentions the brand of, the vacation photos, the sharp clothes, the sense that Derek is a little bit ahead of everyone. When Derek talks about money, it is always about what he just bought. Everyone at the office assumes Derek is the wealthy one. He looks the part better than anyone. Hold that thought. We'll come back to Derek. Climb again? To the quietly wealthy? Now the disguise gets serious. This is the person in the 10-year-old Toyota with a paid-off house and a portfolio you would not believe. The plain fleece vest. The same 3 shirts. The grocery store brand cereal. Nothing about them broadcasts a single dollar, and that is a deliberate practice silence, because up here, they have learned what money attracts when it is visible. The friends who need a loan, the pitch at every dinner, the wedding invitations from people they barely know, the quiet assumption that they should always pick up the check. Looking wealthy is a tax, paid in everyone else's expectations, and the quietly wealthy simply refuse to pay it. So they hide in plain sight. They let you assume they are ordinary, because ordinary is cheaper, calmer, and safer. The scuffed shoes are not poverty, they are camouflage. Picture them at the grocery store, in the fleece vest they have owned for 9 years, putting the store brand cereal in the cart while a man with a financed sports car parked outside buys the name brand 2 feet away. The wealthy one looks at the price tags. The broke one does not dare to. That is the whole difference in one aisle. The person who can buy anything is the one still checking the price, and the person who can afford nothing is the one pretending he never needs to. The rule at the quiet upper rung, past a certain amount, wealth stops being something you show and becomes something you hide. And above that, the top, where wealth becomes completely invisible to the naked eye. At this level, there is nothing to see at all, because the money does not live in objects anymore. It lives in structures. Holding companies, trusts, shares in things that do not have a logo you would recognize. The person at the top might drive something modest, wear something plain, live in a nice but unremarkable house, and control more than everyone on the loud bottom combined. You could stand next to them in line and never know. There is no car that signals it. No watch that captures it, no outfit that contains it. The wealth is abstract now, spread across paper and ownership, and paper does not shine in a parking lot. The rule at the top, the most money makes the least noise. By the time it is real, it is invisible. Picture the airport gate, a row of ordinary people waiting to board, and one of them owns the company that owns the building the airline leases. You would never guess which one. He is in a plain jacket, holding a paper cup, scrolling his phone like everyone else. The wealth is not on him. It is in a folder in an office in another state, spread across ownership stakes with names that mean nothing to you. He looks exactly like the person next to him who has $40 in checking. On the outside, they are identical. On paper, they are different planets. So the latter plays a trick on your eyes. The loud bottom looks rich and is broke. The silent top looks ordinary and owns everything. If you judge by appearances, you get it exactly backward, every single time. But here's the part the stealth wealth crowd never tells you. You can fool other people at the grocery store. You cannot fool the system. Because there is a second version of every person, the one that lives on a screen. And that version does not care what you are wearing. When the quietly wealthy man in the faded t-shirt applies for anything, the screen does not see the t-shirt. It sees the paid-off house, the credit history a mile deep, the assets, the cash flow, the accounts. The system reads him instantly as exactly what he is, and it treats him accordingly, the low rates, the high limits, the polite fast yes. And when the loud man in the financed luxury car applies, the screen does not see the car either. It sees the utilization, the payments, the thin margins, the leverage stacked on leverage. It reads him as what he actually is, not what he is wearing, and it treats him accordingly too. The scuffed shoes fool the neighbors. They do not fool the file. You can dress down for the world. You cannot dress down for the database. Picture 2 loan applications sitting side by side on the same officer's desk on the same afternoon. One belongs to the man in the faded gray t-shirt. One belongs to the man in the pressed shirt and the nice watch. The officer never meets either of them. She never sees the shirt or the watch or the truck or the sedan. She sees 2 screens, 2 sets of numbers, and in about 4 seconds she knows which one is real. The costume stayed out in the parking lot. Only the numbers made it into the room, and the numbers told her everything the outfits were built to hide. The rule here, appearances are for people. The system reads the number underneath, and the number does not lie. Now, back to Derek. Derek, who looks richer than anyone at the office, the leased sedan, the watch, the vacations, the confidence. Here's what the screen sees when Derek applies for the mortgage on the bigger house he has been talking about. It sees the lease, not the car. It sees the credit card balances that fund the lifestyle carried month to month, quietly enormous. It sees the vacations that went on those cards. It sees a savings account that is nearly empty because every visible dollar Derek owns is a dollar he is currently paying interest on. Derek built a person who looks wealthy, and he built it entirely on borrowed signals. The mortgage gets declined, not because Derek looks poor, Derek looks rich. Meanwhile, the guy in the faded gray t-shirt, the one you almost sent to the food bank, buys his next building in cash. Derek fooled the office for years. He never fooled the screen for a second. So stand back and look at the whole ladder, because now you can see what was really going on. Appearance and wealth are not just unrelated. Past a certain point, they are opposites. The energy people spend looking rich is subtracted directly from the wealth that would make them rich. The billboard and the balance sheet are fed from the same account, and every dollar cannot be in both. The people who look the most impressive are often the most fragile, one missed paycheck from the whole thing folding. And the people who look like nothing are often the ones holding the actual weight, precisely because they stop spending it on being seen. The world judges you by the costume. The system judges you by the number. And only one of those two decides what your life actually costs, what you can borrow, what you can build, and how the people behind the desk treat you when it matters. You've been trained to read the costume. It is time to start reading the number. So you're back at the dealership, same showroom, same rows of shining cars built to make you feel behind. And two men walk in. The first one is dressed the part, sharp clothes, nice watch, the confident walk of someone who looks like money. The salesman moves toward him immediately. The second one is in a faded gray t-shirt and scuffed shoes, and the salesman barely looks up. You already know how this ends. You have seen the screen now. You know which one the system says yes to, which one drives off in something paid for and free, and which one is signing away the next 7 years to keep looking like something he is not. The costume walked in first. The number walked out ahead, because looking rich and being rich were never the same thing. One is for the people watching, the other is for the machine that keeps the score. And the machine was never fooled by the shirt. It was always reading the number underneath.